Hello, everybody. Grace chatting here, just carrying on talking about the theme of wisdom worth sharing. And today I want to talk about the wisdom of the children's fire. I've been very taken with the concept of the children's fire. For a long time, I watched Tim McCarthy's TED Talk on that, and I would recommend, if you haven't seen it, to watch it. It's quite inspiring. I was very inspired by it. And he also wrote a book about the children's fire as well. So, and that's very interesting too. And I think what really has been bringing it to the forefront of my mind recently was looking and thinking about wisdom and wisdom worth sharing. And it occurred to me that is wisdom worth sharing, but more so because there's all the elections going on in the US and the elections that we've recently had here in the UK, and looking at who do we choose to lead us? And who are the leaders? Who are the elders? Who are the wise elders? Are there any wise elders? And so that whole mix of things made me think about the children's fire, and that's why I wanted to talk to you about it. So for those of you who don't know what the children's fire is, it's a concept that originated, it seems, with the Iroquois, the Native American Indians, and that confederacy. And they had a way of operating when they had important decisions to make, and they met as a circle of elders, and they held the principles of the children's fire, which was the main cornerstone principle, was that any decisions that they made they had to take into consideration how it would impact right down to the next 7 generations. So if they were making decisions, it was quite ecological way to go about decision making, but it incorporated and embedded as a big principle was the notion of intergenerational responsibility. So by thinking about and considering, and I'm imagining there was a lot of discussion and conversation went on about that, to arrive at how it would impact down to 7 generations into the future. But you can see that that process of focusing in that way would mean people had to be, the elders, the leaders would have to be very mindful about what they were thinking, how they were thinking, what they had in mind, what they negotiated, what they considered to be important or positive or not positive. And so it created that kind of a very mindful decision-making culture. And so very, very long-term, and that responsibility for the coming generations and the coming leaders. Like for all of you watching this video, think about your children and your grandchildren and their grandchildren going forward, and that if the decisions that our governments and governments around the world, the decisions that they made, kind of encompassed and embedded these principles down to those generations, how different it would be for our children and grandchildren and coming generations, because they are all going to be future leaders. So in a way, it passes on to them a process of how to go about responsible, ethical, good decision making. And as I see it now, the relevance in the world today, it does call for something of a moral awakening when you think about the corruption and the self-serving short-termism and for-profit principles that guide a lot of decisions that are made. You know, the other principles that were embedded in the whole notion of the Children's Fire was a respect for nature and the planet, and keeping the environment and nature and the planet in good order. So it was a very holistic perspective, and it is a very holistic perspective, and called for very ethical leadership. So you can see how all of these values and principles all hang together. It was very community minded, and it called for collaboration. It called for, you know, it did really underscore the need for community and collective action. So, embedded in all of that was the notion of stewardship, of actually doing a good job and taking care of your part of the policy. So so why am I bringing this up now? You can see what an ethical, holistic, responsible and intergenerational responsible way of going about things. And I think there is a lot of wisdom in that, and I do think it's worth sharing. Particularly, look, our young people are beset with more and more mental illness, and the way the world's going. And I'm not saying that from a let's curse the dark. What I'm saying is let's light a light, and let's consider the wisdom of the Children's Fire, and consider how we might influence decision making, kind of be more community minded, be more collaborative in how we go about our personal decisions as well. It's a timeless and powerful wisdom. And so the event that I'm having, called Wisdom Worth Sharing, at Borringdon Hall on the 28th of September, Wisdom Worth Sharing, will be the part of the reason for that is to make an attempt to raise awareness about the need for wisdom, the need for wise elders, the need for holistic and collaborative and community perspectives, and to pull people together with the intention of developing ethical leadership in our own lives and collectively. So I leave that with you. And, you know, if you get a chance, do watch Tim's video. I think we all have the capacity and the ability to effect collective and meaningful change. We just have to set the intention. So if you're interested in taking part or joining us in that event at Borringdon, it does include lunch on the day. There is a waiting list for those who are interested in joining, so don't forget to put your name on the waiting list and your email address, and I will send you further details. And I'd be delighted to have as many of you as are interested to join in that conversation about the Children's Fire. So bye for now.